Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is Dee Dee with Power of Three Trading. Not here just to teach the strat, but to teach you how to profit from it. If you have any questions about the strat, reach out to my guy, Rob Smith at Smith's in the Black channel and at Smith's in the Black channel, Rob in the Black on Twitter and at Zepia Group. Okay. So yesterday we had our setup. I started the day with doing some coaching / trading. And one of the lessons I took from it was it should have just stayed on my 18-minute because it's hard to talk and trade at the same time. So I'm an active trader. And so trying to do that at the same time can be a bit of a challenge. But when I look back on our setup and we said, okay, NVIDIA, we're going to short below 183.87. It traded up here to 182.55. Had I just stayed on my 18-minute and saw this inside day here, we would have caught this short. Why? Because it had traded below our low broadening formation here. I would have been able to call that out live. Same here with Tesla. We said 856.58. Price traded up to high of 845.63. So we knew we were going to be shorting in this range, and then we just wait for our signals, right? I was on a 6-minute, and so trying to move around between these charts and on a shorter time frame can be a little bit more challenging. And so as I look at this, though, here's probably would have been the trades that I would have called out. It would have been NVIDIA, Tesla, and Roku, not Apple, not Crowd, even though Crowd went down nicely. Maybe there was an entry once it traded up, and you can see that here. I'll show you on a shorter time frame. And not Upstart. So Upstart, we were short below 79.57, and boy, did it tank overnight. This thing is way down here. It reported earnings yesterday, and so for whatever reason, it traded up, stayed inside day most of the morning, and then finally broke down. Gosh, I wish I had a short on that overnight. So this is where, if I do this again, because normally I'm over here moving back and forth on my multiple time frame charts, and so I can see what's happening on the 18 and then taking my signals off the 6, which is actually where I got in on Tesla here off this 3-1 inside bar off the 6, and then it traded down, traded up, and since it hit that broadening formation, I exited the position. And then you can see it broke down, stayed down. After I got off line with you guys, I actually took this long here because I was like, man, I missed my opportunity. And then short right at and so you can see here on the 90 flip, which is why I like the 90, but knowing this is key, right? Knowing where broadening formations are. Let's go back over here so we can see where we drew it. And we're going to switch this to the 6. All right, so this is how we drew it up yesterday. And so when price came back above this broadening formation here, this is 11:30 right here, this outside bar 11:30. I took this position here, right? This was the upper broadening formation, right, where we exited before, came back up, hit this broadening formation, showed some resistance here, if you will, and traded right back down. And you can see how that played out on this 90-minute, at that 90-minute flip, and it traded right back down and down for the rest of the day. And so I think I had said to you guys, if you were online, that once we draw this for the day, even if I'm not with you, you still have this. Now, here's a bit of a challenge. um, if you're not drawing it with me, then you won't see where those lines are. And so I know I've been talking to another one of our followers, and this is not easy. Drawing these broadening formations is not easy. I get it. It just takes practice. That's the best thing I can tell you. More screen time, more practice. We'll do our small group training, and that's all we're going to do. I've been thinking about this because I've talked to Sepia. They sent me another mail. We're getting real close, guys. And I think I'm not going to do that intro class because more people, a lot of guys have already heard of the strat, right? But it's execution, it's emotions, it's the patience. And for those of you who were with me yesterday, you could see me sitting on the sidelines. I'm like, and Apple was a great example. When I called this out in Apple, it had already gotten here to this broad information. I had issues trying to get in, excuse me, to take this trade on my Mac. And so it came down and then came back up. And I said, I don't like this trade, I'm out. And so I exited the position with maybe, I think it was right around a $2 loss. And that is key. And you have to understand, set your, when you're establishing whatever strategy you use, you know, I trade off the 618 and 90, whatever strategy you use, and I am a broad information girl. People have been saying, oh, Didi's the queen of broad informations. Once I figured out how to draw them, you know, I'm profitable. And when things go against me, I'm out. I'm not having to think about it, because structurally, I know that once price starts to trade back up inside a range, it's likely that trajectory, the downside, in this case, the downside move that we're expecting, it's probably not going to continue. And so once I got out here in this green candle, it went outside bar, came back in. But Apple was choppy. And that's why I said, I don't like this trade. I never looked at it again. And so that's part of the decision-making and the emotions that you go through as a trader. And you really want to learn and understand about you as you go through your trading style. And now if we flip this back over to the 18, and I said, I would not have called out the Apple trade, and if I had been on my 18-minute, why? It's because it went 2 down, hit our lower broadening formation, and just chopped up the rest of the day. Roku, on the other hand, and I don't know why I don't have a lower broadening formation. I must have got tired of drawing something. But anyway, it crossed below our low of the day. I was drawing it at the top, but I don't have any levels lower than that. But I was drawing, but it crossed below the low of the day once it went up on that 18 and created this little shooter versus this long wick here at the top of our broadening formation and then straight down. Same thing here with Tesla. It created a shooter, right? It traded down, created a shooter, 2 up. These are the kind of moves you're looking for. You want to trade 2 1-2s. Here was NVIDIA, 2 1-2s, 2 up, 2 down, right? Those are the type of trades you're looking for on gap or continuation patterns, okay? And so I think that if we were to do this again, I will certainly be set here on my 18-minute chart. So I wanted to just kind of talk through that with you guys. Yes. So one of our fellow traders had sent me a couple screenshots on, so Tim Greco, question is about Thinkorswim and the broadening formations that one of our fellow traders, straters had built. He did a nice job on that. The biggest difference though is that his broadening formations repaint after a new actionable signal, if you will. So whenever a new 2 up, 2 down occurs, it redraws that broadening formation for whatever time frame you're on. So I don't know how that would work. Maybe you could use it kind of as an exit if you're already in the position. I'm not sure. My broadening formations do not obviously I don't change them, because I'm doing this manually. So I don't change them throughout the day. Why? Is because I drew them based on historical data, starting with the prior day's market. So I'm using that as my broadening formation pivots, if you will. So intraday, I'm not drawing new broadening formations unless there's an outside bar that occurs. So like, for example, if I were trading Apple here and it created, it created these outside bars, which is another reason why you stay away from this. When you see multiple outside bars in a day on these shorter time frames, shorter meaning like 15, 5, you're just getting chopped up. There is just no real conviction on either side. And so that's why I just avoid these when I see this noise here. I just don't even look at them. These are the type of trades you want to look for: reversals back to a point and continuation. You have this scalp here and a continuation. Tesla, the one I caught, you have this hitting your broadening formation pivot here and trading up, hitting it again and continuation. Those are the types of trades that I like to see, not where on my 18 I got an outside bar and then I'm stuck inside this range. Because remember, this outside bar in and of itself is a broadening formation. So I'm not exactly sure how I would, I'm not exactly sure how I would use that, because right now what I have works really well for me. But I would suggest, if you have Thinkorswim, check it out to see if there's a way you can use it to trade. Okay. All right. So those were our trades from yesterday. Really good setups. My execution wasn't the best, trying to talk and answer questions. But I think if I were here on the 18 and not here, as you can see, that just looks a lot different, because you see all of this movement. And I know my buddy Jim had called out Upstart, and you see this move here to the top. We were looking to go long above this range. It hit it 85.76. I mean, it was just 4 points away. And had it traded up, I would have looked for a long here with this level here as my target. But you can see when you're on these shorter time frames, and I actually saw Roku, and then I saw Apple, and just not quick enough. And so, but I'm pretty sure that if I do this again, I'm going to stay here, and then we're going to look for our hammers and shooters and our inside bars, and we're going to take these positions. Because remember, this could very well have traded up, but you had the simultaneous breaks on the cues, everything traded down. Okay, and so overall, it was still a good day. But I hope the education helped for those who watched. Let's look at cues for today. And, the market is starting to, so the market is gapping up a little bit. Qs are up about $3. But when you look at our candles here's what I would like to see happen. That price would trade down. So this is my lower broadening formation that I drew here off of these outside bars on the 3-week. And so this week started a new 3-week pattern. Here's what I'd like to see is price trades down to this level. Man, the way the price was moving yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, is it gonna hit it in 1 week? I mean, in 1 day? But if price trades down to like 291 or so, 290 maybe, and holds here for June, right? So this is May 31st, this next flip is May 31st. If this price can hold here, because here's what I'm looking at. I mean, we've had a serious beat down here in the quarter. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe it holds here, right? And then June, maybe you see price start to trade up like you did here in that this month, February, it hit a level. March, it traded up. June being the last month in the quarter, maybe there's an opportunity there. I would not be long here in the month of May, but maybe if we can see something in June where it hits some level pivot, broadening formation. I'm gonna start calling it broadening formation pivots, because the way that I draw them is so different from the way that the other folks do, because I am going back into history and looking at those ranges. So side note, if you're looking at pivot points, that's exactly what's happening. They're calculating those pivots. It's a mathematical calculation based on historical data and prior highs and lows. And so all I'm doing is drawing those broadening formations, and that's kind of, I mean, I wasn't looking at pivots when I did it, but once I figured out how to draw them, that's all I'm doing is looking at, let's go to 90, where these highs and lows are, and then taking the next next highest candle, if you will, inside that range, right, inside these ranges, and saying, okay, here's the next candle that's closest, right, within a particular range. And so that's how I came up with that. And so I'm just going to start calling it broadening formation pivots. But anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. If we hit this broadening formation pivot, maybe we can see price reverse there in June, see what happens. All right, so because I'm looking at my screener, I had a few stocks that are, I think a few have dropped off that were gapping up this morning. This is kind of my list here. There's some stuff that I'm not familiar with. And so I'm trying to come up with my list for today. Right now, I'm looking at, I don't even think I'm going to trade Upstart. Let me just look at that. When you have a stock that is at all-time lows or all-time highs, it's hard to, I mean, it's not hard. It's almost impossible to get a pivot, right? Because you're at all-time highs or lows. So Upstart is here, guys. So maybe we can say the low of this candle is 42.55, and you can come back into this month. Let's go down here to the daily, because it's trading, like I said, near that low. Let's see if we can find something here. But because of the poor guidance, well, no, that was Peloton. We'll look at Peloton. I knew it was a $10 stock. I just didn't know when it was going to get there. So what we could do, because it's here now at this daily low, which is December 20th. December 31st, 2020, is we could say, okay, here, let's take this here, because we got to go so far back on this guy. And then what I would do, geez, that's 20. What I would do is, okay, yeah, that's 0. So yeah, we're not going to be able to go that far. Did you see that line came across? Yeah, you're looking at $2 stop if that were the case. So I wouldn't do that. Let's just draw a horizontal line and see if you get a reversal. 36.26. I forgot I got magnets on. I don't have to do that anymore. Let me change my color though. We're going to just draw this on a horizontal line because that's where it's trading now at 36.26. But if it continues to drop below that, because now you're inside this range, that's 28.25. So we'll just have to do that. And then the all-time lows. I don't have there are no there is no broad information to draw there because you're already inside those lows, and to do it on a intraday chart would be a little difficult because we're so far back. Okay, so that's what I would look for if seriously. Oh no, I thought I didn't have it on. I forgot this dropped so low. Okay, yeah, that's what I would look at if I'm trading Upstart, and see if you get any reversals off any of those levels, because there are there's just not, the range is just too big. Okay, range is just too big. Peloton, oh geez. Peloton is at 1048, guys. Same scenario. Let's go way back. It's at its all-time lows. So yikes. Hold on. Yeah, it actually is at its all-time lows, guys. See, IPO was here. Hold on. Here in 2019. So yeah, so nothing to do there with Peloton. It's $10. So I will not trade this. Stocks, now it's probably got a lot of liquidity, so there may be a move to the upside at market open, but just know that it's at all-time lows. So what we could do though, because we do have it trading here, we could do something on a daily. Let me look at this. And just use the daily as, yeah, we're gonna have to go way back to the next, this. If we did something like that, I don't particularly care for the angle, but what you would be looking at is if price came back up inside this day here, which is close to yesterday's low. So we may just say yesterday's low. But if it trades back above, let's say it gaps, it's here at 1030 at pre-market, and it trades back to, what is this, 1350 or so. The low was 1406, trades back to 1350, and maybe reverses back. But there is not another, again, because it's been down so much, you're just tracking, you would just be tracking back inside this day, because your next low, looking at, this chart here, is $20. if you're looking at the angle. So now you're just tracking back up. So if you're looking at this on a longer time frame, this is probably my point. If you're looking at this on a monthly, because you got to track up through this daily. So this is 1738. And yeah, so April, this is May. So this is April's low. If you did something like that, 1738, that's this month low. That would be one way to draw it. I actually like that angle better. And so what you're looking at is, because we're in this month here in May 1st, 2nd, right? You're in this month here. So this was the low for April. So you can draw it this way and you can see that downward trend. So if it trades back up to this level here, which was, essentially yesterday's low, and reverses, but I'm not going to be trading it. So just wanted to talk about it because it is a gapper. I'd probably look at something like a Roku, which looks to be trading up. I'm going to go ahead and remove these drawings. Keep in mind though, guys, these are still inside day. And that's why I was looking at my screener list to see if there was something that was gapping significantly. Let's look at Skyworks. But I don't really see anything on my list that would give me any indication that this is going to go higher. Let's look at Spotify. And so what I'm looking at is on the daily to see where price action is trading. Let's see that moving. BABA is actually trending right now above or right around the open. So that's what I'm looking for is, do we have an opportunity to go 2-2 reversal to the upside? Maybe BABA, Baidu, the Chinese names, big gapper downs, risky. I don't know. Let me see, Roku. I like Roku for continuation to the downside. There looks to be some room here at 83. We'll draw that real quick. Airbnb is another one that I think is near all-time lows. Yeah, this is their IPO. Yeah, so yeah, these IPO stocks are getting hammered. NVIDIA is getting hammered. It's not IPO, but it looks like it still has some room to go trade lower. So no trades here before Wayfair. Wayfair was an inside day, guys. Let's draw this one. It was an inside day. What's this? Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is another one. It's at all-time lows, guys, from its IPO, right? So I'm not gonna wait. So my point is, when you have those like that, it's best to just wait for intraday moves. And I'd be looking for an outside bar intraday or a 2-2, and probably try to do a scalp trade, because you've had such downside moves on these guys. The idea that they're going to have significant moves to the upside, maybe not. So let's just do Wayfair, because it traded inside day yesterday. I mean, imagine that with all of the noise. This guy didn't have much of a move. It moved $7, but it's still, total range was about $7, but it stayed inside day. Interesting. All right, so we have an outside bar here at the open. So we're going to draw broad information. Let me just blow this up. So the high of this bar to the next highest bar in this range. This has been a huge drop too. Let's see if I can get this better on this 4-hour chart. Mm, mm, nope, I don't like it. Hard to do. All right, we're gonna have to do it on the daily. And I'm gonna do it off of the inside bar on this daily chart because that's the high of the day. And the next highest day inside this range. We're gonna take this gapper here, the high of this gap. Right there. All right, and then the low of this bar, because it's an inside bar, and looks like we don't have another range here. Here's an inside bar. I'm going to take it to the low of the inside bar here. That it didn't move much. Let's see what it did on the. Let's see what it did on the 90, and then I'm going to try to draw this 90. So it didn't move much. So what I'm going to do on the 90, because it's inside, I'm going to take this high of this 2-up bar to this outside bar. I know there's a method to my madness. What I'm doing here is looking at this chart and saying, okay, this is an inside bar. This is a shooter here, but it stayed 2 down. And you had this 2 down bar. This is not a 2-up bar, guys. But if you can imagine, if I'm on a shorter time frame, that was a TTO somewhere else. And I just envisioned that. And that's this bar. No, not this bar. This bar in here. What time was that? Look at that. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Right in here. So I'm just going to take it to this 2-up bar here on this 18. Yeah, we'll just stay here because of that inside bar. Because here's what I'm looking for. We know this is our low of the prior day, and this was our high of this prior day. So I'm going to draw this here to this outside bar. But remember, it traded inside. So here's what I'm looking for. If it trades below yesterday's low, I'm looking for it to take out this range. And that's where we have to go back to our daily. Let's just stay May 6th. All right, we're going to take this low here on May 6th. All right, that 2 down bar there. And then we'll have to track it down if it continues to trade below that level. But let's go back to our 18 so we can see this better. All right, so here's what I'm looking for in Wayfair. This is an inside day. So if price trades below this level, right, we're going to go short. Yeah. So short below yesterday's low, 61.43. All right, but if it trades above this range, remember, we're still inside day. So I'm going to be careful I don't get stuck in this range, which is where it's trading at now. I'd like to see it trade above this range, but look, you have another 2-up bar here. This is another sub-triangle, right? So we had this triangle here. We didn't draw this here, small outside bar here. You could have drawn one here, but you'd still be right where you are on the 90, right? So not necessarily, not necessary, but this was off the 90. And here you have this big outside bar, guys. I don't necessarily care for that. You get stuck in this range. So I won't go long. Basically, it needs to come outside of this inside bar. This is your inside bar here. I don't like this range, so it needs to trade above yesterday's high. Keep it simple. I won't try to trade inside this bar. If you if you're following here, 68.50. Let me say it again. This is how you avoid getting chopped up. Here, if you can envision, the market's going to open and price is going to trade somewhere in these ranges, right? This, and I'm just going to draw this like this. I want you to stay with me. This is an outside bar. I'm not going to be to scale, but close enough. This is an outside bar. So we can see it better. We don't want to trade inside an outside bar. I hope that resonated with you guys. We don't want to trade inside an outside bar. So it doesn't matter that this is yesterday, which is why I'm always thinking about what has happened, which is why I draw my broadening formation off these outside bars. You have to break outside of these ranges. So when you're inside, when you have an outside bar like this and price trades inside, you see what happened on Wayfair yesterday? It didn't move. This first 18 minutes was an outside bar. Inside, created another outside bar, tried to trade down, still inside this range, created another inside bar, then finally traded down off this inside bar. It's still, let me see, what, 6403, 6370. It cracked it, traded down a little bit, came right back inside this range. Chop, 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 chop. When the rest of the market was puking. You may be able to catch this move. So remember, this is an outside bar here too. So this was outside, inside, outside, right? So now you have this 3-2 down here, which was tricky. Inside, 3-2 down. So because we're trading reverses off these broadening formations, 3-2-2, maybe this move, but then it goes inside. Got to be done. Why? You're back inside your opening range, outside bar. So that's how most, and I'm included. I got caught up in Tesla last, was it Friday? And I think I talked about this in my video. That was the one thing I said, I see where I made my mistake. Once it went 3, let me just look at this for a minute. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This was here. Once it went outside, came back in, I caught this move up, then it went inside again. I should have walked away. I continued to try to trade. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. Boom. Once it went inside again, call it a day. You're stuck inside this opening range. So you catch that 3-2-2, make your money, it goes inside, walk away. It has to break outside of this range for you to make any money. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck trying to trade this open, right? So I call it my opening range because I trade off the 18-minute. But if it were a 15-minute, it would look exactly the same. Once you get that inside bar, you're stuck in this range. You're choppy. You could have taken, there's a 2-2, right? It never broke back above it. Somebody would have probably tried to take this inside bar here up and immediately gotten chopped out. So just try to avoid those. All right, I talked way too long. So I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys, but that's how I would trade Wayfair. It's the only inside bar that's on my radar today where, sorry, this is all over the place. It's only inside bar that's gapping. above my 2% range. So I will look at that, and then I'll probably look at some of my usual suspects like Tesla. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it there, but here was, if you're interested, here's some of the stocks that were initially gapping up, but I don't think they're gapping up anymore on my screener. Yeah, NVIDIA has fallen off the list. So tough day, guys, potential tough day, right? Because we had a big down day. Just be careful, don't get chopped up. We're going to end with my favorite scripture, and then I'll have a couple minutes for any questions afterwards. But the Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage, but everyone is hasty comes surely to poverty. Yesterday, we were not losers yesterday. We were not losers yesterday. Why? Because we were not jumping in and out of trades. Folks who just haven't, gotten there yet, see the market moving. They haven't managed their emotions. They see action. They're not clear on which direction to go, so they're looking to make a move, or they're looking to take a trade reversal. They see this 2-2. And I think I even said something about that, one of these trades. Yeah, I think it was here. I think I said something that just, when I draw these broadening formations, they're to help me get into trades and get out of trades. And if you had tried to scalp this on this flip at 130, you have to know that where this broadening formation is, it came right back down. I think we're on a 6 minute. We can see it a little better. Over here, where is that? At 130. Yeah, I think it was in this range. It came right back up. Right back down. So, or here, maybe it was 11:30. I think it was 11:30. It was 11:30 flip. Trying to take this off the 60. That's what it was. It was the 11:30 flip, and just knowing where your broadening formation pivot is, and it came right back down, guys. And so Apple was choppy. So you have to know how to control those emotions. You have to know where your broadening formation pivots are, and just be under control. If the 6 minute or the 2 minute or 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, if it moves too fast, go to the 15. I love the 15-18 because I can't, move that fast when I'm looking at several stocks. So just bring your time frame up, slow things down for yourself. The 30 works just fine, but until you're comfortable, don't trade real money. Keep paper trading, okay? All right, so I'm gonna stop the recording there.